What up, tribe? It's your girl Raji, and I would like to welcome you to the House of Kush, where the evolved hustlers come to learn more about root work, conjure, tarot, culture, astrology, and a little bit of everything in between. Welcome, 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 y'all. It is a new moon in Virgo, and we are in the energy of a solar eclipse. It is eclipse season. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that. We will also be doing a collective reading for the week ahead, and we'll just do what we do. I have a couple of little root work and conjure tips for y'all, and a couple side quests, if you feel me. So grab your notebooks, grab your tea, your coffee, whatever you use to relax, and let's get into it. Now, like I said, today we're gonna focus on astrology, work, and what's been going on. Now, if you are not heavily into astrology, you probably like, who gives a damn? But astrology is a very good key component into your day-to-day mundane life, as well as any sort of business or creative endeavor that you may be seeking. Like, people will say, you can't make astrology your life, and etc., woo woo woo, whatever. And if you've been looking at the current state of politics, if you've been looking at the current state of the entertainment industry and culture itself, and you tie into certain political things that happened around certain transits, you will see how astrology plays a very big part in that. And to top it off, our government and the billionaires that we are looking to kind of independently move on from, they rely heavily on the woo-woo. They rely heavily on the astrology and what's going on, and they have their practitioners and they have their people. And I took a class, y'all, not too long ago from Harvard, and I finally fucking finished it. Guys, I have the tism and the ADHDism, and it took me forever because it was a lot of reading, and they do really make you take a test. So it took me a while because I'd be seeing some information and go off on some side quests, and then I'd have normal life going on. So that part. But what I did learn a lot from that class is that people will downplay the fuck out of divination and predictions and premonitions, and it gave me the opportunity to see how seriously this shit is, right? It gave me hold on, what the hell my bad, y'all. What the fuck? But yeah, it gave me the opportunity to take this shit, realize how seriously people take these things, and how they play in our face as if, Agent Smiths, if you will. That's what I'll call them. They play in your face oh yeah, that's some silly thing. And meanwhile, the president, your congressmen, your politicians, your big billionaire businesses, and your Targets and your Disneys and the people that we boycotting and shit, they're utilizing these tools to their advantage. So please do not let nobody sit here, you sitting around thinking it's just some woo-woo, it's stupid, because I guarantee you, they ass got somebody on payroll, baby. They talking to the woo lady. They might not be calling her a woo lady. They calling them a witch, or they calling them a fucking, I don't know. But yeah, so little precursor about that, because get into it heavy, especially in this climate where you really should be focused in on having you want to have you need a leg up too. Shit, why not? Why are you raw dogging life? Because they surely are not. Okay. Now, back to the lecture at hand. Eclipses. So basically, when it comes to an eclipse, there are two different kinds of eclipses: a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. We had a lunar eclipse, full moon in Pisces, not too long ago. And as you know, Pisces and Virgo are sister signs. So that was the lunar eclipse. And now we're entering into a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, blocking are partially blocking the sun's light. The solar eclipse is the full embodiment of what you are manifesting during the lunar eclipse. Now, this is kind of interesting because if you was manifesting, if you know anything about a full moon is more so, it's powerful, but it's not like an ideal time to be like attracting. You're more like releasing, removing, and getting shit out your way, right? Well, this is attraction. But what's crazy is a solar eclipse is kind of chaotic. So you don't want to do too much out of pocket, because you might timeline jump and your mental might not be ready for this shit. You might not necessarily be ready. So my advice is like, do something, fine-tune something that you are already committed to and working towards. It's a step-by-step, day-by-day thing. Don't just jump out here with like brand new creative ideas that you've never tapped into before. Like, find a new way to do old things. I think that's the best way I could put it. Now, this time span is more about rebirth and transformation. It's going to give an added boost to any workings that you're doing. So like I said, revisit your grimoires, go back. And what's your grimoire? Your notebook, your manifestation journal. If you're creative in your business, what have you been creating? What have you been doing? Like, go back and try to see where you could tweak those things. What has changed? What do you need to kind of work around? And you know the energy of Virgo, like I said, ruled by the digestive system, purification. So how can you tap in? How can you move forward wholly in that energy, right? Like, what's what, now. When it comes to the root work and conjure team, right? So you want to make sure Sunday is a catch-all. Y'all know how I feel about planetary magic. And you're like, wait, this your second episode. If you've just now started listening to me, then what's up? Again, my name is Raji. But if you are an OG, you know that I had a podcast called The Kush Concierge, which is now this. But I'm heavy into planetary magic because it works. And we use it on a large scale, like every day, whether we know it or not, right? So Sundays is a day for solving problems and getting things out your way, and confidence, and petitioning those guides that are going to give you that extra boost to get you through the week. So you want to make sure you cleaning your altar, your tools, and most importantly, yourself. If you got you some ammonia on deck, some sea salt later on, tonight's going to be a great night to get those spiritual baths in. Now, if you want to collect some water and put it under the moon, I mean, I feel like it's good. You could use it in certain rituals and things later on down the line. Let it sit, let it simmer. You could, but just be mindful of the type of energy that we got, because we got a lot of retrogrades going on right now, which is periods of pausing and reflection, giving you a chance to go back and look into some shit. Again, heavy Virgo fine tuning in the physical 3D realm. What's the 3D realm? Your real day-to-day mundane life, okay? Then you got the Pisces energy that's circling in the transit. So that's like another creator. She talked about it real interesting. She was like, as above, so below. That's the energy that this is giving. As within, so without, right? So this is a release and a reset. So anything that you realize is not working, because sometimes you got to go back in your your manifestations, your jars, and your root work, your conjuring. You got to kind of be like, okay, this ain't it. or this is old, let me refresh, which you should be working your jars on a consistent basis anyway. Even if you're doing freezer work, you should sometimes take the freezer jars out, let them thaw out a little bit, give it a little shake, pray over it, whoop, 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 and put that bitch back in the freezer. So this is kind of the time to kind of do some sort of inventory or thought, right? Now, Saturn and Neptune are opposing, so you're being, like I said, that Virgo of being very realistic, being very like on point, and then you got that Pisces energy of like that dreamy, just turning your dreams into reality is going to be a big theme right now, and also being able to discern what's real and what's not. There are a lot of times that we be feeling like every spirit that we encounter or every ancestor that we petition is for the journey. And I have learned recently that sometimes when their job is done, or not necessarily done, but it's like time for you to transition, they will introduce you to new spirits and new guides. Like this will come, you're like, how will I know? The signs and synchronicities, you realizing that it's some stagnant energy. Maybe, just like you evolve, your spirit team evolves. So look at it the same way. And some spirits may need to be released, or they may need to be banished. Even like your ancestors that don't necessarily fit the vibe, just because a person has passed on does not necessarily mean that they're going to be for every phase of your journey. Like that's, you got to get out of that. Like, just like a period of time ago, we were talking about everybody that passes away doesn't belong on your altar. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're doing some new shit, right? 11:01 on the timestamp for somebody. Especially if you're doing some new shit. Now, there's also a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus, which is good for innovation and power. So this is a good way to kind of open your roads, open new doors of spiritual communication, and obviously ancestral upgrades. Like, again, what about your spiritual journey is going to be unique from the way that your predecessors may have done it? Evolution, the only thing constant is change, baby. The only thing constant is change. So get at your altar today, look at your tools, all them jars, all that spiritual work, and just move that shit out the way. Get rid of it. Does it align? Because I know me personally, there are some jars that I got, I'm like, I don't necessarily have those same goals and those same wants and desires. I've changed what I want. I've changed, So if you are, for instance, also doing 100 manifestation list, then go look at that list. You might not even want some of that shit no more. That might not be your desire. Maybe it's time to write a new manifestation list. And I've been getting like the gentle nudge that I do like my affirmations, which I set in my reminders on my phone like an alarm, and they come throughout the day at specific times to remind me. And like a lot of that shit just started to no longer fit, and that didn't mean it wasn't working. It just wasn't a part of my journey anymore. It just wasn't. So yeah, right now you might want to work with some herbs that deal heavy in purification, which is going to be what do we love? We love hyssop, we love rosemary, rue for banishing, and there are a lot of other substitutes too. Agrimony gonna be basil is good. Dill seed is amazing as well for cutting ties. Basil is protection and prosperity resetting. The roots and teens. My personal fave, High John the Conqueror. Another one I love that's very strong and powerful is Angelica root. It's a real gut buster. Okay. Devil's shoestring is really good as well. It's expensive. I have some alternatives to devil's shoestring. Now, if you can get to it and you don't mind spending a little coin, it's a good thing to have in your arsenal. It's good for cutting jinxes and blocking enemies, but there are substitutes for devil's shoestring, and we'll get into that at some point. But not right now, y'all. Some teams are for Patreon, which, shameless plug. Definitely join my Patreon, y'all, because we are going to have some amazing rituals and working guides for the upcoming season. October is going to be amazing. Shameless plug. And I do have a free tier, so if you are just wanting to kind of get your info and kind of stay in the know, you can definitely join as a free member. But if you are more in tune with wanting to do the work, you want your daily horoscope, things of that nature, join the upper tiers, baby. Get in where you fit in, get yourself a wristband. But yeah, so now, again, manifesting brand new things, gonna be kind of chaotic. You don't want to disturb. You want to fine tune, okay? Releasing and veiling, cloaking. You want to avoid any sort of reckless endeavors. Virgo is all about precision, clean, really focused work, not reacting out of emotion. And that's kind of where, that's where we be going when we be thinking of eclipse, dramatic, shifts. But you don't want to overload yourself. You know what I'm saying? I like to think of it as, they're saying precision over chaos here, but I'm thinking beautiful chaos, right? When you think of it, because it's ready for whatever, but also staying ready so you don't have to get ready. It's a definite thing, okay? Now, if you're more in tune, which a lot of us are entrepreneurs and creatives, you are maybe feeling the itch to do a reset around what you're building and how you're leaning into your tribe and your community when it comes to your small business or your creative endeavors, right? Now, whatever don't work for you, it feels like it's just not getting to it, your schedule, your tools, then it's time to let it go. When you think of Virgo, sometimes Virgos can be a little, the nitpicky can go. It can get a little eek. So let go of the perfectionism thing, like I said, to the point where you so focused on the to-do list that you're really not getting shit done. Let it go. The opposition to Saturn and Pisces is giving you some sort of reality check around your responsibility and your structure and what discipline means to you on a internal level, making your dreams come true, doing the inner work so that you can make that into a reality, right? Now, that grand trine with Uranus and Gemini and the Pluto and Aquarius, oh my God, building something new and having these immense breakthroughs are going to be amazing. And there's a deep transformative energy surrounding Uranus and Pluto. Life, death, rebirth, transformation. But you've got to be willing to recognize when it is time to pivot, when it is time to fine tune and, go on maybe somewhat of a different road to get to where you're going. Reassess, reroute, reroute. Now, this is also a good time to tap into the Mercury and Libra energy too, which is great for contracts, balance, tapping into your tribe, your true tribe, and fairness, and really, how do you come across to your people? So what should you be doing? You should be auditing your systems, entrepreneurs. You should be releasing the idea of perfectionism. You should remove yourself from outdated models of things that no longer serve your business or your creative endeavors. And you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. Okay? dot your I's and cross your T's when it comes to collabs and your contracts and your pitches. And you really want to, I'm going to say, like, don't run away from technology. Figure out how it could work for you. Like, even down to, like, AI. And I know a lot of people don't really fuck with AI for real, but figure out how it could work for you on a righteous level, because some things are here to stay. And not to say you have to like lean into every fucking thing, but when something is pivotal, like I would say, how can I say this? It's everywhere. It's literally every fucking where. Like Google, when you search, they ask you, do you want to use AI? They were talking about the idea of this AI artist that got like a $3 million record contract, but she's not a singer, but she's a poet, and she created like this AI artist. And I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know enough about the details, but I just brought it up to say, how can you make that shit work for you? You know, and from a righteous perspective. So, you know, figure it out. You've got to have the vision as well as the discipline to carry out your teams. And don't, like, when you get ready to do your craft, when you ready to do your business, and this is something that I'm learning about homeschooling my daughter too. When you get into homeschooling, I'm going somewhere with this, y'all, I promise. When you get into homeschooling, like a lot of us are kind of like, we be wanting to do what we've been taught to do, which is the traditional like school experience, 11-11 on timestamp. And that's not necessarily the route that you have to go. So a lot of times they'll recommend that you unschool for a period of time and kind of tap into your schedule, what you want to do, because we so used to like getting up at a certain time, doing things a certain way. And a lot of that is reworking or restructuring. And I feel like they can be the same as in business too, because a lot in our lives are changing. The world is changing, and as people get ready to step out and do new things, you kind of should lean into the idea, okay, well, I don't have to run this the way that everybody else run this. Maybe I work better at night. Maybe I work better during the day. Maybe I don't want to get started until lunch. You should do shit that aligns with you, that aligns with your natural flow, so that it comes out like authentic, right? And you don't want to like stress yourself to the point where like you end up doing absolutely fucking nothing. So just like take time to think about it. I know like the homeschool thing, but I feel like that was the best. That was the best like example I could draw from, because like I said, I don't know, everybody don't have children, but like that's like been the most interesting process for me, because I went to a traditional school, I've been to college, I've worked traditional jobs, and so it's in my nature to still maneuver like that, but you don't have to. Whatever gets the job done, you feel me? Like that's the best way, right? Whatever gets the job done, you know what I'm saying? And I'm learning that with her, and I'm also learning that in terms of business and what I do, because I am an early bird, you know what I'm saying? I am a person, but everybody don't work like that. And I feel like this solar eclipse, new moon energy, is giving you the opportunity to, like I said, not necessarily do like this major overhaul, but just like take a look, confirmation, take a look at some shit you already doing, and refine it and fine tune it to what sings to your actual spirit, right? Now, I ain't even gonna hold you. It's chaotic as hell, which I can see why people are like, don't do too much, because you might find yourself in a frenzy. We got, hold on, girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven motherfucking retrogrades. Oh my god. Yeah, it's been a moment. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's been a moment. Okay. And so we got a sun in Virgo. We got the new moon in Virgo. We got Mercury in Libra, justice, fairness, relationships. Venus in Virgo. Oh my Lord. Mars in Libra. Jupiter in Cancer. Saturn in Pisces, which is retrograding, work, harvest, lessons, long-term lessons. Uranus in Gemini. Woo, extreme change. It was a girl that was talking about how the last time some of these planets were in these certain like signs, there were like civil wars and like different uprisings and revolts and shit. So take it where it resonates, but y'all see what's going on out there. I ain't gonna get all off into that right now today. Not right now. That might be a bonus episode. Let's keep the main team, okay? We got Neptune in Aries, which is also retrograding. Pluto in Aquarius, which is retrograding. The North Node in Pisces and the South Node has transitioned into Pisces. Both are retrograding. Lilith is in Scorpio and Chiron is in Aries. Baby, listen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's why. Baby, it's too much going on for you to be deciding like, oh, I'm finna just jump out there. No, baby, you asking for it. Nah, you just need to sit back. I know I've been tired as hell. Some people say they got energized. They been up. I was more so up during the lunar full moon eclipse. The new moon, I've been ate solar energy. I've been tired as fuck. Okay? No pun intended. Now, today, the moon is very busy, which is your emotions, your inner self. The moon is very, very busy. So you could be feeling highly critical, maybe wanting to clean. You got that urge to kind of get your life together, okay? You've got that urge. And the reason being is because Mercury is conjuncting. Let me splivvy my screen out because boop. Okay, thanks. Holla. Please let me roll up. Okay, perfect. So, the moon going crazy. Now, when something is conjuncting, that means that it's either a love-hate relationship and one of the two can affect the other. So, look at it in that retrospect. So, the moon in Virgo is conjuncting with Mercury and Leo at 9 degrees. Whoa, they could be working together to make sure things are balanced, things are fair and neutralized, and bringing an ending with that 9 degrees to things that simply just aren't fucking right. That's why you see like a lot of people saying like, oh, this is a major change, like your enemies, the people, whoop-de-whoop, because that Mercury conjuncting that moon is bringing that in. The moon is sextile Jupiter. Now, sextile is meaning they're compatible. This is where you'll get like that second level of blessings. And that 5 degrees is giving me like change maker energy. Jupiter was in what? Jupiter was in Cancer. So that could be like working with your home life, getting you organized, things that maybe were taken from you, instability, like all that is being worked out in your favor if you're on the right side of things. The moon is opposing Saturn in Pisces, which they sister signs, so I'm not shocked. 2 degrees, creating balance and discipline. Their hostile opposition is basically resistance. So, I don't know, like, I'm a Pisces, right? And so typically, and I'm a Pisces stellium, typically I would be like, but for some odd reason, I have been more ready to go today. So I don't know what that is. Now, but if you're feeling foggy, get you a spiritual bath in, cleanse your area, and, light you some candles, some rosemary, some lavender for clarity, some chamomile for calmness if you're feeling your thoughts all over the place. The moon is trining Uranus, which is harmonious blessings. This is where you get your gifts. Okay? Change. It's at 5 degrees too, y'all. Change. Newness. But the right kind of change, right? The right kind of new. The moon is opposing Neptune. 4 degrees, balance, freedom, dream life. Like they say, getting you about the to-do list and actually like taking the necessary steps to make those dreams and those processes happen. I think that's what this is really, truly about. Then the moon is trining Pluto, 5 degrees, change. They working together to make sure that these things happen, that you're able to innovate, that you're able to do things that you need done to accomplish. Business owners, creatives, or just people. This is for everybody. Okay, thanks. Don't get caught up in the illusions. Mercury is opposing Neptune today, y'all. Don't get caught up in the woo-woo, that news, that I like. When that stuff happened with that man the other week, it really, if you an empath, like, you take in a little bit, but I just been scrolling past certain shit. Like, obviously we want to rally, you know what I'm saying, especially with the hangings in Mississippi and, all like the political landscape, but you just don't want it to get to a point where it sends you into a frenzy. The way that I'm combating this energy is like, what can I bring to the table? What can I do, like, with my gifts and things to make the world a better fucking place? How, and staying grounded in that energy. Like, I'm angry enough to do something about it, that's gonna incite real change, not just soaking in that energy and talking about it 11:22 on the timestamp. Talking about it, like being about that shit, and being about it in the most resourceful way possible also. And I'm the woo lady, so let's do my thing. Now, whatever that means for you, I just feel like just don't get caught up in the illusion, because like I told y'all, they work, the government and shit, they work with astrology and the woo more than you think. So don't allow that energy to consume you. Know what's going on, but don't get too caught up to the point where you ain't getting shit done. Like, be the change you want to see in the world. Oh, was that cliche? But it's true. 333 on the timestamp. Fuck it. Okay? It's a lot going on. I'm trying to look at the most important. Like I said, if y'all was with me in the previous podcast, y'all know I usually go down the whole thing, but oh my goodness, it's so much. Ooh, let me see what's important. 0 degrees. Uranus sextile Neptune at 0 degrees. Uranus is trining Pluto at 0 degrees. And Neptune is sextile Pluto at 0 degrees. Change. Whew. Jesus. We'll say Jesus, Jontavius Christ. What the hell? Okay, what the hell? Okay, because, Uranus is individuality, creative, culture, and generation. So these things that's shifting, changing, which y'all can see this happening. Like, people is really not with that shit. Like, this boycott they doing on Disney, they like, bitch, you thought, okay? No. So you're going to see a lot of that. And it's a blessing for these things to change. It's a blessing for Uranus and Neptune to work together. So now you can step into doing something new. I feel like what they said, now is the best time to pursue those dreams and that business and really put the pedal to the motherfucking metal, because you have that Uranus and that Neptune energy, that Pluto energy saying, hey, We here for you. We are supporting this change. So lean into it. But then that new moon in Virgo is saying lean into it in a, I hate to say realistic because, hey, whatever you want to. But you get what I'm saying? When I think realistic, I think actually making that shit happen, you know? But it's all these things are working together, supporting your dreams, supporting creativity, supporting your imagination. Neptune is sextile Pluto at 0 degrees, so it's like, yeah, get with it, get into that new thing. Now again, now's the best time to shift. Don't sit on your ass with it now. If you want to do art, go to art school, or start to lean into what that means for you. Maybe you don't do traditional systems, but it's time. You can make the shift now. Now, the North Node is opposing the moon, which again, I'm not shocked. 8 degrees, harmony, balance, evolution, change, because, I heard once that they was like, if you are, okay, so for instance, if you're a Pisces, you should try to be more like a Virgo. And if you're a Virgo, you should be trying to follow more like a Pisces, because whoever your sister sign is in that energy, to achieve your goals, right? You need to lean into what you would normally not do, because what comes to you natural comes to you natural. But me being a Pisces, right, Virgo energy just doesn't come to me naturally. It's something I have to work towards. So look into your sister sign. Look into like that. That's for somebody. Now don't get it twisted. I got Virgo. I got Earth sign energy in the proper places. But yeah, look into that, y'all. Look into your sister sign, and those are the things you should be working towards. Not saying that I'm trying to be more like a Virgo, but in sense that, like, that's not what I would naturally do. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to work hard on what comes natural, right? Lilith is being good. Our good sis Lilith, sextile in the moon, harmony, balance with 6 degrees. And she's trining Jupiter, which is your luck, your abundance, your growth at 1 degree. Take action. Okay, step into your power, period. Now, these lessons from Chiron, which is your wounds, your deepest, darkest struggles, things that you're working on, your ability to heal as well as heal others. It is opposing Mars, which is movement, war, strategy, process, 3 degrees. Time to get some balance, alignment. And it's squaring both Jupiter and Pluto. Whew. And this is going to challenge your spirituality. It's going to challenge your transformative, your ability to change and endure rebirth, which is, again, what we doing now. Like okay, a lot of us are watching people around us are like still leaning to the same processes. And it's like, damn, should I, shouldn't I? And I just feel like, if you sense that something is not for you, then it's time to remove yourself. It's time to evolve and change. It's going to be painful. Birth is painful. If you're a woman, but maybe you know something about it, or if you're not, well, let me tell you, having a kid is so painful that sometimes, more often than not, like, you don't even remember the exact pain. And it's just that painful. It's just that transformative. So think of life like as we know it right now. Like, no, that shit's not going to be comfortable. Or if you want to tie it to pressure makes diamonds. Like, but the longer you sit in shit, you are going to start to stink. The longer you sit in places and spaces that you've outgrown, like if you're meant to be a change maker and you're still trying to fit yourself into environments that don't like support that shit, right now it's gonna be uncomfortable. Like, I have been clearing my friend list and stuff the fuck out, y'all. I have been getting rid of it, because I be looking at my time, my especially since that That man passed away the other week. Baby, I took that as an opportunity to clean it up. Clean up on aisle 7. Because, like, who the fuck are these people even, you know? And I've been on Facebook since it started and Instagram for a long time, too. So I'm like, shit, it's time for some of y'all motherfuckers to go. Our values don't align anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. You know, and that's where I'm at with it, y'all. Even down to my foods and shit. Like, it's deeply time for me to be vegan. You know, I told y'all, I be telling y'all I'm flexitarian. It's deeply time for me to get the fuck, right? And I have been being hard-headed, to say the least. And, yeah, so in all ways, it's in phases. Virgo is kind of like gut punching that ass. Like, what's up? Do you really want this? Is you really about what you say you about? Do these people align with your message? Do these energies, does this environment align with the lifestyle that you dream of in your Pisces delulu for shoo? And if it don't, it's time for that shit to go. All right. In my auntie Tab voice. All right. Okay then. But yo, I would definitely, before sundown, I would be cleansing. I would be getting rid of shit. I would be purging what doesn't work. But first you got to think about, like, what you want, you know? What do you really, truly want? Not what you see other people wanting. Not what you wanted when you wanted to be in that relationship, or you were worried about your family, you know, shit like that. Like, what do you want now that you're free? Now that you're free, what do you want? How does that align? Does it work at all? You know? So I think a good thing is clarity and protection today, because the energy is like wide open. So rosemary is a good like herb for that, in addition with, well, lavender is more like clarity, but road openers and moving things around and cleansing and protection. Rosemary do its thing. That's a multi-purpose herb there that you might want to tap into. Candles, and, you know, pray for discernment. Ask for clarity tonight. You know, is it true? Can I? You know, what's what? But I feel like deep down, like, you be knowing when shit just don't work no more. We be clinging to familiarity and, you know, to the approval of yesteryear. Like I said, I was looking at my friend list like, who the fuck are these people? I don't know you. Get out of here. You know, and not even like a mean way. Like, I just don't, what? So those sometimes when it be time for some political shit to happen, I ain't even gonna hold you. I be like, thank you for letting me know, you know, what values and things don't align, right? But yeah, working with astrology, working with planetary magic in my day-to-day life is very helpful to me, and it keeps me on track. Like I said, a lot of people will holler, it can't be your life, but honestly, it is life, because we operate off of a system of planetary magic. Now, what you are doing is learning how to use it to your advantage. That's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, tap in. Use that shit to your advantage, you know. Each one teach one. And slow motion better than no motion. So, maybe you just tap into the days of the week at first. You know, don't be out here trying to figure out about transits and, you know, all the difficult shit. Because it's a science. Like I told y'all, it took me It took me a few months to finish that class because, oh my God, it's very detailed. It's science, it's mathematics, So take your time. Start off with the days of the week. And because that podcast is no longer with us, there are some topics like planetary magic and stuff that I will go back to speak about separately. I don't want to cram too much into today's podcast, but just do trust and believe there are some things that we will definitely revisit for sure. Now, if you are a member of my Patreon, you guys can go search, okay, those topics and those different things, like what to do for solar eclipse, what to do for during different moon phases. There's a search bar on Patreon, and if it's privy, if it's open to that tier that you're a member of, you can find that information. Some things have PDF downloads, others do not, but you can jot it down, you can save it, you know what I'm saying, get in where you fit in. But those things are there. Now, what I will say is revisit your manifestation list, revisit your journal entries today, and go through it. See what works and see what doesn't. I don't want to put too much on y'all to the point, like I say, where you do nothing. Just kind of go back and see if those things align with your current goals in your life. That's where we'll start. Now, October is on the way. I did put a poll in Patreon, as well as if you're a part of my Facebook or Instagram private subscriber groups. I put a poll just to see if you guys, what y'all wanted to talk about, what y'all wanted to learn about for October. So tap in, comment, let me know if you're a part of any of those groups. Comment here, shucks. Because it is hoodoo. It is a hoodoo woo-woo month in October, and I will be teaching, and we will have some different workshops and new things coming up. So I just wanted to see what y'all thought and what y'all might be interested in. So yeah, let me know. If you are not already following me on Facebook, baby, I'm everywhere. I'm even on LinkedIn for my very important business people. I'm even on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, check me out. Sometimes I do put different videos and information in different places. I don't cross post everything. Some social platforms get different information. So check me out. Follow your girl. And yeah. I appreciate y'all. I was gonna do a collective reading, but I think I'm going to cut this short, and we are going to do the collective reading in a different episode for the week, because I have a strange feeling it's going to be quite interesting. And we'll tap into the herbs. We'll tap into what we need to know, what the spirits are giving us for the beginning of this week, you guys. Make sure y'all turn your notifications on so y'all know when I post. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much, and we will most definitely chat soon. Yeah, but let me know what you think. What are y'all plans? What are your feels for this solar eclipse new moon energy? Don't forget, you have 3 days before and 3 days after. So take your time. You don't have to rush it. Do it, but you don't got to be all, take your time. Really think about it. That's why I say think about today, and do these things work for you moving forward, okay? But yeah. Alrighty, stay tuned for the collective read and the horoscopes, if you will. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and you know that we will most definitely chat soon. All right, y'all. I love you. Mean it. Bye.